Almost ready. I'm looking for my glasses. Yes, it's live. I'm here. I'm here. I'm trying to get my glasses. 1 second. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Kim. What's up? I'm trying to find my glasses so I can actually read this without doing that. Got them. I'm coming. Hold on. Oh, I'm back. What's up? It's like a war zone here. Hey, MC. How's it going? Ah, okay. I can read again. Wait, let me turn the fan off. Maybe if I close the curtains, might be a good thing. Hey, everybody. Yeah, it's gonna be in the 40s. It's gonna be like 43 degrees into 40 degrees. And tomorrow afternoon it's gonna be 80. I'm gonna die. Hey, Bridget. And then tomorrow night, gonna drop back down to like 45 again, 48. And then we're gonna be 75 and 60. I like that. 70, 60s for the day. 76 to 65 at night. We only get that 10-degree difference. Those are the best days ever. Ever. So we got a good week, but we got a crap load of rain this weekend. So we need it. We have nothing. Everybody keeps cooking in the national parks and the forests and setting Florida on fire. They even burned down a campground too. Hey Lee, how's it going? I missed a couple. Hey Cheryl. Yeah, we need it. Half the state is burning down. And it keeps happening in the national forest. Then it was in the state forest, one of my favorite ones. And somebody was in the national forest and a fire started there, and it keeps being people cooking and setting campfires. So it jumped to a campground and burned down 20 trailers. They had to make everybody ran and left, and 20 vehicles. So about 10 trucks that are pulling the fifth wheels, all the pull trailers. So 10 pull trailers and 10 of the trucks that were pulling them. Gone. Completely gone. Yeah, I know. We're supposed to have the first of the thunderstorms, and that'll come with the 75 and 65 nights. 75 days and 65 nights. We're going to have crazy thunderstorms on Saturday. We got to find a place to hide over the weekend so we don't get flooded out. And this is going to kind of have to be like a 1-hour live stream. Let me tell you what's happening. I'm sure you've all seen the news. There was an incident with a boat that was registered to Florida. There were 10 people on it. 4 are dead. 6, they all got shot. 6 are shot and wounded and in a hospital, I believe, in Cuba. And 4 are dead. So I could probably tell you the exact moment that happened this afternoon. We had crazy helicopters flying around. Military, they broke out the big ships today, boy. Those things have a 20-foot gun on the front, and they are loud, very, very loud. And they were flying in pairs. Then a group of four, about 2 hours later, when I was getting the food, about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, there were groups of four. Then they were just they're all over the place. It's like it's like D-Day over here. I swear to God, it's gotten worse in the last hour. So I want to try to get out of where I am and get away from the traffic. I haven't seen stuff like this since 9 months after 9/11. We had to live with this. There's just constant. Those giant helicopters. And let me tell you, I had a little Kia at the time, and when those giant helicopters are only 20 feet above the 8-story buildings, my whole car was rocking. I was holding on to my steering wheel because my car was shaking so bad. And they are loud. I couldn't even hear this all day today. I gave up and just turned the volume down. I was just sitting there watching, waiting for my food. Just wanted to get the hell out of there. And I figured I was good over here, and forget it. A whole, like 6 helicopters just passed over my head before I got on. I was waiting for them to leave because I couldn't hear nothing. And I can still hear them. I don't know why they're hovering in the area. I don't know. And there's nobody missing and nothing, no manhunts going on. That's over with. But yeah, we are extremely PO'd at what happened today. And they didn't say who the people were, but they actually put out the number, like the license plate number. Every boat gets a number. It says FL, and then I think it's 5 or 6 numbers after it. And they put the number of the boat up. If anybody knew whose boat this was, because they were running the registration. Of course they know already. So as soon as they put the plate up, the number of the boat, next thing you know, like 6 helicopters came over. I said, uh-oh. I was really hoping they were bad guys doing something bad. Because God forbid, they're a bunch of rich college kids on a joyride on Daddy's boat. I really hope not. I really, really hope there was a bunch of drunken college kids having a party on the boat, didn't realize where they were going, got lost. It happens. That's why I was never allowed on anybody's boat without my parents being there. Forbidden. Death would have rained upon me had I set foot on a friend's boat. People get stupid. Don't know. I don't know. But the fact that it's very quiet and it's almost like non-existent now. I haven't seen anything. No one's putting out statements. So I don't know. But Florida sure as hell knows who that boat belongs to. And that's probably why all hell's breaking loose here today. I don't know. Don't know. We won't know until it's over. I bet you. Yeah. Every once in a while it gets a little crazy around here. Ow. My bee. My bee. It's still itchy. My bee got me. By accident. I crushed him. And he stung me. Well, I stung myself. I had my hand sitting over here, and I didn't feel him on my finger. He'd been sitting there probably a really long time. I thought he went out the window, and I turned around. He didn't. He flew back in and was sitting on my hand. I told you, he keeps trying to sit on my shoulder, the bees. I don't know. They're trying to get warm. I don't know. So he was sitting on my hand, and I went to get something, and he was like if you see right here, he was sitting right here, but his head was in between. So he was facing this way. So when I closed my hand, I crushed trapped his head, put him in a headlock, and whammo. I bent him and made him sting me. I felt bad. I was like, dude, I'm sorry, bro. And I put him out in the grass. And I got the stinger out, but it's been itching like crazy. Oh. Wait, what did... I don't know what that was. Wait, no. I wanted to report anybody. You look homey. I just missed that one. Sorry. No, you don't. But, yeah. Normally it's quiet. There was some guy walking down the street with a sign today. He looked all pissed off. He was kind of scary looking. He went through the Walmart park, and I mean a big, huge sign. I was like, uh-oh. I don't know what that was about. I would be too, but you can see me. Hey, Burgish. How's it going? But, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It was giving me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like when the military flies around over your head. I hated that 9 months. It was driving me crazy. Florida. I'm in Florida. That was annoying. It was nice in the beginning, the first month or two. Then 4, 5, 6, so it was overnight. About our deployment stopped at 9 months, mandatory that we had to be there and couldn't leave. But that went on for almost a full year with all that. It was a little unnerving, especially when they come low, and they were flying low. I don't know if they were just goofing and flying low over the parking lots. Oh, that's nice. The northern part of the country is very pretty. I always wanted to go to the Dakotas, Montana. I said I went to Canada. And traveled across there. I figured it was the same on both sides of the line, so that was fun. So what's everybody up to this weekend? Yeah, it's I've seen pictures of it, and it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. But I grew up in mountains and stuff, and and the Adirondacks. I miss my mountains. We have mountains here. We have pine forests. That was some of the first places I took off to in the van. I tried to find all of the state forests and parks and stuff that had all pine trees in them. Oh yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah, that's right. It goes across, right? Or both. Do they change the names when they're on your side? Are they all still the Rocky Mountains? Screams. I can't believe they're still making those movies. I didn't see. I have to look for the trailer for the new Elvis movie. Okay. I wasn't sure. if they got some kind of French name. I mean, the first one was the first one, you know? I was like, come on already. It was like enough with the Friday the 13th. You know, it was like, we were getting tired of it. 3 would have been fine, you know? 4 if they're really good, you know? Like, how many Freddy Kruegers did they make? You've never seen any of those movies? You just gotta watch the first one. Just watch the first one of each one of those crazy series. Freddy Krueger, that one scared the crap out of me. And what was the other one? It wasn't that bad, but it was creepy. Flatliners, where the med school kids were shocking each other and killing each other and then bringing them back to life to see if there was something later on. That was a creepy movie. Oh. Oh, wow. Sorry about that. Oh, that's hard with the dementia. My grandmother had that. But grandma got very, very mean. I mean, woof, mean. When I had first gotten there, I didn't realize how bad she was. She fooled me for a while, and I worked with seniors, you know, lived with them, all stages, Alzheimer's, dementia. It's kind of all, to me, it was the same. I wasn't ever sure if she had both or what, but my grandma growing up in the World Wars, World War II, she got bombed out of her house and invaded up in Nova Scotia. And we had first gotten here and I was doing the laundry. She was outside and I went to go change her bed. Thank God I didn't hurt myself. I picked up her pillow and inside the pillowcase she had a butcher's knife. I swear to God, it was over a foot long. They were all over the house. She hadn't hid them all over the house, although some of them were probably my father's because they had a lot of break-ins in the area, in the trailer parks, especially in the summer. But that's rough. Yeah. Yeah, we weren't sure what was happening with my grandma. She had a bad heart too, a horrible heart condition, which I inherited that too. That's what's making everything so bad. But yeah, I realized I couldn't leave her alone. We had to take her everywhere. You couldn't trust her in the house. And then I went into the bathroom one day, and I wasn't even thinking about this. She was sitting at her little desk in the kitchen, and she nodded off. My grandmother was, 98 years old. She was still a bull. Grandma was she was an athlete, and she never got weak. And she was a big woman, and she was 5'10", and about 140 pounds. Grandmother was a cross-country skier, Olympic team athlete, up in Canada. She had she was strong. She fell asleep, and I came out of the bathroom and scared the crap out of her because she didn't remember that I lived there. And the last time I had seen her was a really long time. She went back north, and I just started working, and all this happened, so I couldn't leave. I didn't see her for about maybe 10, 11 years, but I talked to her every week on the phone. So her pictures, she was looking at me, were young, say, And when I walked out of the bathroom, I scared the crap out of her. She came after me with a knife. I ran into the bedroom, and she was tackling that door like a football. I could hardly fight her off. And that's when I realized, uh-oh, I didn't realize she was forgetting that quickly. Like she fell asleep and woke up and forgot I lived there. But she had been alone for a year without my dad when he passed away. But it's a trip. It's a trip. It's hard, you know. I learned a lot working with them. And she couldn't make a decision. I gave her too many choices for breakfast. She couldn't make a decision, and she'd get very angry. And she was more angry that she couldn't make the decision. She couldn't remember what she liked. So I started just offering her this. I said, but I could make this. And I would show her what I was going to make, because I would tell her what I was going to make, and she couldn't remember the picture in her head. She knew the words, but didn't remember eggs were scrambled eggs. So I would have to show her the food. And I started doing little tricks like that, or not making a decision and give her something that I knew she didn't like, so it maybe would spur her memory to something she did like. I working with the seniors and the veterans with memory issues. We worked with St. Joseph's House for the Blind. And they taught us a lot to help them and why they're so mad. They're mad because they can't remember anything and they know it. And I was like, oh, geez, maybe I broke my heart, you know. He said, she's not mad at you, she's mad at herself. Oh, it is. My grandmother was the most wonderful woman in the world. But when that kicks in, woo, you know, with all she'd been through, and you know what I mean, running from being invaded, and you know, having your house bomb dropped on your house while you're running out the front door, you know, it was hard. It was hard, especially since she was like twice my size and outweighed me. You know, I had to be very careful with her. It was hard living with her. You know, you couldn't get up in the middle of the night. Had to be either real loud or quiet, you know, and try not to wake her up. But it took her a while to get used to me. Yeah, I did. While Richard was keeping her busy doing stuff and planting flowers out in the backyard, I had a big basket, and I ran through the house pulling all the knives. I took the butter knives, I took the screwdrivers, hammer, I took all the tool, everything. I cleaned out that house quick as I could so that she wouldn't notice. And I ransacked her bedroom, looking under everything, flipping over mattresses. She had stuff tucked everywhere because she wouldn't remember that she had one. I found like 3 knives under the mattress. All the butcher's knives, you know, the big giant scary ones you keep in the butcher block. The butcher block was empty, and that was should have been my first clue, you know, as to what was going on. Like, where's all the knives? He's got an empty butcher block here, and there's like 10 missing knives. So, yeah, I had to hide that. And not to mention, a couple of my father's guns were in the house. And I had her show me where they are. And I took them, and that night that she showed me, I quick moved everything. Everything I could find, hoping that that's all my dad had. I was like, I hope she doesn't know where there's one, where I don't know where there's one. I didn't sleep for a while after that. Kept waking me up. I said, what if she knows where there's another gun? Oh my God. My father's got baseball bats everywhere. I was looking for the baseball bats. I was looking for everything, and it's horrible. You know, she doesn't mean it. She could have a bad dream. A lot of times she would wake up from a nightmare and still be half like sleepwalking, only she was awake. It's like their brain gets stuck. They're still dreaming, but they're awake and talking to you, but the dream is happening. You just ended up in their dream. That's still kind of going on. So, yeah, she was fuzzy for a while. Had to make sure she was wide awake, talking with her. Oh, that's good. That's good. I did hospice at home as long as we could for my mom, and I did it with my grandma. She died about 7 7, 8 months after I got here. I got here in December, and she passed away the end of July. Her heart finally was having issues, and that's what happened with her. When she was 99. Yeah, her birthday. She was 98 when I got here, and she died. She was 99. Her sister died on her 103rd, 2 days after her 103rd birthday. Yeah, always at night when it starts getting dark. They call it sundowning because I think they forget why it's getting dark. They forget like the sun is setting, so something confuses them at night. So what I would do was make sure I knew what time the sun was setting and turn on all the lights in the house, and then I would start closing the blinds so she couldn't see it was getting dark out until later. Put the porch light on outside. I had a bunch of halogen light bulbs, and I lit up the whole carport so it actually looked like daylight. And to ease her mind about the electricity, I used to give her the electric money every month. I told her I was having trouble seeing and I needed to brighten the house, so I would take money out of the bank, take money out and hand her the cash in an envelope. I say, here, this is I'm going to pay the electric bill because I need the lights on. She's like, okay. And she walked around flipping every light on in the house. They're like, free, you're paying for it. So I kept the house very bright and tried to block out the sunset and distract her. Yeah, that's a long time. 103 was a long time. I think after 80, that's cool. That's fine by me. 80 years is a long way to go. After that, it's just kind of downhill. That's what's so annoying with this, you know? It's like being 80 at 50 with cancer. It was like I wouldn't want to be that old. You know, my mom died fairly young. She was 67. And she said at almost 70, she goes, yeah, I'm done. She goes, we've done it all. There's nothing left I want to do. Just let me go now, you know? But happier thoughts. But it's rough. It was hard working with seniors. Thank God I did help me with my grandma, you know? My cousin was taking care of her mother. Sweetest woman in the world, like Aunt B. Okay, just picture Aunt B from what's his face? Andy Griffith's show. That was my Aunt Phyllis. She had gotten Alzheimer's. I don't know which is the one that makes them curse all the time. Wow. Wow. I never knew my grandmother knew such words sometimes. Oh, and to hear her say them. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, my aunt would start, it was like she had Tourette's. And her husband, the sailor, and her brothers, and my aunt's brothers, my mother's father and stuff, everybody's Army, you know, and Navy, you know. There are a lot of swearing and strange curse words coming out of their mouths sometimes. But damn, this sweet little old lady saying such stuff. My cousin called my mother. She was crying and laughing at the same time. Oh, she goes, I never knew my mom even knew what that meant. She probably heard it from my father and my brothers. Funny stuff though, you know. We try to see the humor in it, but I don't know. I'd rather not go. I was like, damn, now I know that runs in the family. I was like, crap. You know, my grandma went wacko and my aunt did. I was like, great, one more thing to add to the freaking list. Although the lady didn't find it, so I was hoping that kind of skips generations. They did all my DNA and told me everything they found. All kinds of strange stuff, too. And they dig and they look for the Alzheimer's, breast cancer genes, the BRCA genes, which we didn't have in my entire family gene pool. And they didn't find, like, the early onset dementia and stuff. And I just found my bowl. I've been looking for this for 3 days. Oh, Lord have mercy. Living in a car will drive you insane. Hey, Carol, how's it going? Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that. After the doctor called on Saturday, I'm like, I'm not answering my phone anymore. I'm glad he told me, though. I'm glad he found out because it was bothering him. I just felt bad for him because he's friends with the other doctor. He's known her for a long time, and he was hurt and very angry over withholding what she did. That wasn't right. Knowing why I'm there, you know, and how I got this way, not to even say that she saw that. That was despicable. That's why I always tell you, get the opinions, at least 2, minimum 3. I had to get a lot. I had to get 3s, mostly 3s on stuff, except for the breast. I ended up having to get 4. And then we realized that the one place was kind of lying about it, or they were just that stupid. And this is a huge, huge breast cancer center. It was like the one we were going to in New Jersey. It told us we were all fine, and 800 women ended up dying of breast cancer. There you go. You're all fine. That happened here, too. My neighbor, her and I were going to the same place. Said, yeah, everything's cool. There's nothing wrong, nothing wrong, nothing wrong. Next thing you know, she passes out, cold, twice in one day. Didn't know what was going on. They rushed her to the hospital. Now we lived closer to a hospital here. The one we were going to for the breast center was like 15 miles down the road. So they took her to the closest one. Thank God they did. And they didn't go to the one where she was going to. She had stage 4 breast cancer. She dropped dead 2 weeks later. And they told her she was fine. Nothing came back. Couldn't see nothing. 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 Her husband came running over to tell me because he knew we were going to the same place. I found a new surgeon, went to the other place over here to that hospital. Bang, 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 bang. Like, oh my God. Holy crap. Not only do you have it on both breasts, all over the place, it's metastasized, and you have 2 different kinds. I said, there you go. There you go. Truly sad. That's how my mother died of breast cancer, and so did my friend. Why? They were going to the same hospital we were all going to. Big, huge, new breast center. 800 women misdiagnosed. And they're all gone. We had over 350 just in my town. That's only 3 miles wide by 3 miles long, maybe 4 by the time we rezoned and redistricted. So about 5 miles long and half mile wide. That was it. 1 block wide. That was the width of the town, or where people were living. Ridiculous. 5 different towns, 800 women. That was because of 9/11. That's how my friend, best friend from high school, who was like a daughter to my mother, she loved her, Taylor. She lived down the block. She got very sick and she collapsed. They took her out to a place called Hackensack because everybody said there she was fine. They rushed her to Hackensack. She was just starting stage 4, and then found out the reason why she fainted was that she was pregnant with twins. P.S. She did not do chemotherapy. She did nothing. The babies are fine. Last time I saw them, right before I left, she delivered in 2013. She died 3 months later. It was a boy and a girl. A friend of ours from school moved in to take care of the kids and be a nanny. She just packed her bag and moved in. She took care of her, helped her through the pregnancy when the babies came home, and stayed with them. And then when she passed away, uh, about 4 hours after my mom did, and they had the exact same kind. Mine is different. They only had one kind, and yeah, that's when we knew. When those two died together, it made sense when everybody else in the town was getting sick, especially people who worked for the town or the town hall. They weren't in the ash cloud like I was and touching the people who were coming off the boat covered in ash. We also did triage and wash stations for the firemen and guys running back and forth through the Holland Tunnel. I stood there and I volunteered to wash them off because I was already contaminated. I saved a friend. They were going to send a friend of mine from the HUD office. I said, first of all, she's got 2 kids and grandbabies on the way. She hasn't been here all day. She's been in another town. Leave her. Leave her. I didn't want them sending her down. You know, she wasn't in the smoke. She wasn't in nothing. So I volunteered and I took her place. I said I was already covered head to toe in ash. Can't get any worse. You know, I'm not sending somebody to get sick and touch that stuff, you know. Yeah, it takes years and years. The secondary stuff from the smoke. My mother died soon, quickly, because of 2 reasons. I gotta live with this too, you know. My mom already had cervical cancer. She'd been dealing with for over 25 years since I was in high school. When I came home covered in ash, because my mother knew it was getting bad, she came over and she helped me. She helped me get undressed. And she helped me take a shower in the backyard with a garden hose, big bucket and gallons of bleach and sponges. People were bringing stuff down to me. And I had to do it in the backyard. I couldn't walk in the building. I couldn't go anywhere, so they hung up. Somebody brought down a set of king-size sheets, and they held them up, and then 2 of the maintenance men stood backwards like this with their arms stretched out, holding the sheet, while I'm in a corner and my mother's helping me rinse off and pouring gallons of bleach all over me. Alcohol. So she was touching some of my stuff, you know. And one of the other men who helped me, who was standing with the sheet with my mother trying to bag everything up, he had stage 3, prostate cancer, and he was dying. Him and my mother died like 6 months apart, but he was dying quick. And so those 2 came out to help me because they knew they didn't have long. No, we knew. We knew that the ash was contaminated. It was all asbestos and jet fuel. I was covered in oil inside that ash, the fluff. Some of it looked like snow. It was big fluffy pieces of the asbestos that lined and the fire repellent foam that was on all the beams sprayed on. And there's a whole thing about that spray foam, not to use it in your van, and if you got it, you better get it out, because people are getting sick. It's meant for houses, not for enclosed spaces like this. A couple of people died, and it's a direct result. They just proved it like a week ago, of the spray foam, because we're misusing it. And they're not they're like, hey, use it in your car, use it here, use it under the sink. No. It's only supposed to be in the attic, and it's supposed to be covered up. It's not supposed to be out anywhere. So these guys got to stop spraying that. I saw Matthew just filled up the van, the back of the van, with that stuff, and it's toxic, completely toxic. And I think his little girl's going to be wanting to hang out in that trailer, and it's not good when you're in a small space like this. I forget where the person used it, and they linked it directly to that because they found it in their blood. And it wasn't because they were the ones who did it. It gives off a gas, a poisonous gas, that foam. I knew there was something I wanted to say. And the other thing was, Jenny, thank you very much. I got your envelope. That's what I kept forgetting to say in the videos. Sorry, I couldn't find her comment to let her know. But inside the fluff was little tiny jelly bean sized balls of oil, jet fuel, from the plane. And when you went like this to wipe that ash away, parts of it turned into a big black smudge of oil. We were just covered in my mouth, up my nose, in my eyes. It's a freaking mess. So they knew what they were doing, because they're first responders. My mother is, and Sal is a construction worker. He was a maintenance man, but he owned his own construction company back in Italy. And he knew. We all knew. The firemen knew. There's a video of the firemen saying, we're all dead already. Look at this. Look at us. And 6 of them grabbed hands. It was a rookie who was freaking out. And he was covered. He had just started. He was there maybe a year with the fire department. And there's a video of him going, we're going to die. We're all going to die. We're dead already. He said, that's right. So let's keep going. And they grabbed his hand because he was about to snap. And they all walked in. And then I don't know who was videotaping. There might have been someone from the news. And they were walking away, and the guy backed up, and it's a beautiful shot of these 6 firemen walking hand in hand into the dust. It was bad. Very bad. It took me hours to get that. It took me 2 hours of scrubbing to get it off. It's not like you just rinsed and went. No, you were just soap and scrubbing and scrubbing. It took forever. Everything had to be put in hazmat bags. We didn't have any, so we were triple bagging these extra thick compactor bags that we use. My car was covered in it. I was sitting up to my waist in it. All the windows were open in my car so I could hear the fire engines and cop cars and what was going on outside. I didn't have time to close all those windows when I drove right into the ash cloud head on. I turned a corner, and there it came. 1,000 foot up in the air. I thought they blew the train station up. I could feel the rumble. My car was shaking as the tower came down. It shook New Jersey like an earthquake. But I thought they blew up the train station. My phone rang, and it was my mom, and they clicked in Richard because they had turned off all the cell phones in New Jersey, and his went dead. He was sitting on the George Washington Bridge watching it, and realized where I was, and that's where I was where the cloud was coming right 100 miles an hour at us, and that was fast. That came fast like a tornado. It never slowed down. It picked up speed across the Hudson River and just kept going. And they don't even talk about those people. They don't. They're not even counted in any of the lists. It's pathetic. All the people who lived there and came home had their windows open. It was a beautiful September day. Whole apartments destroyed. You had to throw everything out, and I bet half of them didn't, or replace their air conditioners and threw them out. They were ruined. But yeah, that was a day. The day I should have stayed home. Yeah, I did the spray and all that. You're gonna see the amount of Roundup they do down here and in the parks. I was telling that other woman, Barbara, she was letting the dogs pee by the trees, and I had came to the park real early one morning. We were getting a campground, and I came in and I saw a guy with a huge tank, and he had a garden hose with no spray nozzle at the end, and they were pulling up to the trees, turning this on. He had gloves up to here, both of them on, and a mask, with an open garden hose just running out like a faucet, soaking a 3-foot section around the tree. That's where every dog is peeing. It's a dog park. Little kids running around in the grass right there. Horses eating the grass around the trees. The people got their stables there. And I thought, oh my God, you guys are just pouring this out by the gallon out of a hose. And people are laying there, kids are running on it, your dogs are hanging out. Now, if somebody had come within 24 hours and walked near that, it was like this deep of weed killer. It was soaked. There was a puddle around. As soon as a puddle formed, he went to the next tree. And I just stood there staring like, oh, am I even watching what you're doing? That's insane. So if you're at parks and you see a big dead ring around the trees, keep your animals away from the trees. And the fence line, doing it running along the fence line, pouring out that garden hose all over the entire park, including, you're gonna love this, around the playground. They didn't do the trees, but they put a foot-wide section of killing the grass directly underneath the fence that went all the way around the playground for the kids, and it's a huge section. Huge section of the park is just designated for children. I thought, oh my God. Hey, yeah, the Kearney Point. When I was a little girl, I think it was the Hess station, Hess oil refinery blew up. We live right down the block from that. It was right near the army-based housing down South Jersey. Yeah, we had to leave real quick, and we never went back to that place. I forgot where they sent us after that. It was another place in South. Oh, they sent us from that place where everything exploded to the place where we flooded up to the second floor. My dad had to come in a rowboat with the other Navy SEAL guys and rescue us off the roof, climbing out of a second-story window, which now my father was level to. And actually, that went over 3 stories. That flood was insane down South Jersey, and it happened twice. After the second time, they closed that base and moved us upstate New York. Yeah, it's good most of the time if you can get into the woods. Not a lot of solitude living in the parking lots, though, I tell you that. This is killing me. This car is making me nutso. But at least not everything went crazy at once. I need wood right there. You know, once a year, twice a year, spaced apart is, I did as much as I could before I got out of the house, but I'm going to be bunny hopping through the parking lots, Ed. But I haven't lost any oil in 10 days. And the smoke got done. That's because somebody miscalculated how many miles where I was supposed to go on the oil change, or the leak was, something was wrong. They said they tried to tighten stuff up, and they were in there for a while. It was an extra long, it wasn't a 10-minute oil change. They were in there about an hour and a half trying to do what they could, knowing that I didn't have the money for the stupid gasket now. I'm gonna scream. But whatever they did is working, because there's very little coming out. I just don't drive more than like 5 or 6 miles, and I kind of pull over or try to get halfway to where I want to be the next morning. So I'm not driving for, 20 minutes. I'll drive the 10 minutes, stop, spend the night, and then go do what I got to do in the morning. But do what you got to do. But I thought I could do it for March. I couldn't. Once they cut off my Walgreens card, I was like, oh well. I'm looking at April. Maybe April. Hopefully April. It just wasn't for the, what's this? The labor. God, it's expensive. I'm looking at 4.5 hours. They said they would knock off the half hour. So if they go over 4 hours, they're not going to charge me for whatever they go over the 4 hours for. But, what is it, $130 an hour? $500 for a $300 part. $250 with tax, $3. What a joke. Rubber seal, just a big giant rubber ring, but it's like this big. It's the one that goes around the whole engine. Oh. I was hoping it was just something the computer spit out, but I don't know. I knew it was the next big thing on the list, but not being able to get my money out of the bank, I haven't been able to take the money out to put it away to save it. And you can't use that thing like a bank account. Nope. I left money on there during this time since October. I left $15 on. The first time I had like $50 still left over. That was gone. They wiped it clean and started again with the next month. I made sure then I spent everything. The second time I had $15 on. That was December to January. When my money went in for January, I should have had an extra $15. Nope. They took it. So I'm about to take a huge chance. I'm trying to leave the gas money on the card in that account. But the more money I rack up, they're looking at it like I'm not spending it. I'm in the middle of them looking at, what are you doing? What are you spending your money on? What are you buying? If I leave that money in the bank, they're going to think I don't need it. And next thing you know, they're going to be cutting this. Oh, you don't need that extra $300? They don't know that I'm saving it to fix the car. Okay, they're just thinking like she's not using it. So why are we going to keep giving it to her? For the next 3 months, she's going to leave $250 in the check. Now I can't have 5. I have no idea what I'm going to do for April. I'm just going to say screw it and just take my check and fix the car. I have to. I have to make sure that I keep $200 to pay the car insurance. And then and then take my whole check and fix the car. I don't know. I gotta figure this out. It's not I'm gonna be looking at the first week of May on this. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do because Social Security is not in control of this. I tried to explain to her that my car is breaking down, so I'm trying not to spend the money so I can have it over there. And she's like, I said, how much can I leave it there before they take it? She goes, I don't know. They have no idea. She goes, that's not us. We put it in, and we have nothing to do with it after we deposit the money in the bank. We have no say-so over it. I was like, crap. I was like, they can't even help me. Yeah, right? We do. But I don't mind the van. I was sitting in a van following my dad around with motocross and race car driving. He did semi-pro with Mopar. That's what Marines and Delta Force do when they come home on leave. They do motocross, they drag race. Race cars. Hey, could you hear that, Rooster? Let me know. That's my alarm. Um, but I've been hanging out in the back of a van since I was a kid. Well, since I was born. I was probably conceived in the back of the VW at the motocross track. We used to live there. My dad was doing the semi-pro, like Indy 500 stuff. We'd have to live there for 2 weeks while they're going through the finals. Like 1,000 guys show up for this race. Then they get down to from 1,000 to 500, from 500 to 250, and then down to the last 100 guys. So you're there like 3 weeks before the race even starts. He used to do demolition derby too. Those were fun. Those guys don't relax, man. They don't. They do not. They don't know how to sit still. It's like Air Force guys. You can always tell the Air Force guys in Florida, they're doing 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour. They don't know how to go slow. I swear to you. It's a joke with them. Coming out of the Air Force base, you got to come over this bridge. You better be in the left-hand lane because those guys coming out of the Air Force base are doing 100 miles an hour up the bridge. They're nuts. They used to go in, 1,000 miles an hour. They don't like doing 40 and 50 miles an hour in a car. Well, I said that's what was wrong with my dad. He was a F9F jet pilot. Those were itty bitty jet planes that they made especially for the Marines. Teeny tiny ones. I'm just listening because this place is getting ready to close soon. It's the only place I could get full bars here. Oh God, I don't know. I'm afraid to turn on the news. I can't watch the news. Oh, nitwits, they're declining one of my subscriptions now. That's aggravating me a little bit. My news subscription. It's like, dude, it's only $5 a month. Give me a break. They cut off my gym. They won't let the gym go through on an automatic payment now. I don't know. I told the lady, look, if I can't figure this out by March 1st, cancel the membership because I have no idea how long it's going to take. They're being very nice about it. I said, look, this is not my fault. I'm sorry I got sick. Didn't mean to have 2 heart attacks and a stroke at the age of 31. Like 3 months apart. So I explained everything to her, and she said if it went delinquent 1 more month, then they'll automatically cancel it. I said, I don't want to hear nothing about no fines. You're not going to send me no freaking bill for like $400 because I canceled my membership out of the blue or something. And she goes, no, I'm going to explain why. That your funds were cut off. That you're on public assistance. I said, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, they're being nice. It was fun while it lasted. Oh. No, that was a different place. I don't want to say what it is. I can't say the name of the gym. Because there's people who watch who kind of live in the area, so I can't say what gym it is. But you can pretty much just park in front of any gym. Doesn't matter. Nobody's really bothering anybody in this one specific area because everybody's behaving themselves. They're not doing stupid stuff in the parking lot. You pull in, you jump in the back, and you go to sleep. You're not sitting out there barbecuing and cooking. I make sure when I pull in to sleep, I'm making a sandwich. I'm not even heating up boiling water. You know, people do stupid stuff when they go to park for the night. Said, all right, gonna make dinner now. No, no, then everyone knows. You don't think anybody can smell that food cooking coming out of your car? I can smell Melissa, my friend, when she's cooking. And we're pretty far apart. So, yes, you can smell yourself. You can smell food cooking coming out of the vehicles. That's a big clue. Especially if you're making bacon and smoke is coming out. Because the oil's burning. Bacon fat is smoky. That's a hard one to cook in a van, let me tell you. I have two fans going when I make bacon, trying to kill the smoke. Yeah, you get tired of being sick. I'm over this already. Like I told my dad, I said, I don't know how. My mom and dad had cancer for over 30 years each. My mom had it for 32. My dad had cancer for 33 years. I'm working on 15. 15. And some of them have just begun, you know? Well, no, not 15. 10. 10. Some just started a few years ago. They came at different times. So since I've been here since 2015 is when I really started getting the diagnosis. I had the beginning of kidney cancer in New Jersey, and I left to come here in 2015 and went to an emergency med, and then I was able to go to a hospital. I had called them and told them I was sick, and I went to a hospital down here, and they're like, something's very wrong. And then they were explaining to me what was happening, that I need to find a kidney specialist quickly. And I said, uh-oh, here we go, you know. But the major the lungs didn't kick in until 2018, 2019. Before we could even see it, we could hear it. And I was pretty horrible what was coming up. I was coughing up a cup of blood and black and gray from the ash, all that stuff I started coughing, my lungs started getting rid of everything, and I was like, uh-oh, it's, it's time to get my health insurance, quickly switched to Florida. So I called them and told them what had happened, and I told them what hospital I was going to go to, because they agreed to let me come back to see what was happening. And then they came back, and I said, can you please send it, you know, to Medicaid and Medicare, to the insurance in New Jersey. And they forwarded all the medical records to Jersey, and they said, yeah, we're gonna do it. You're in the middle of moving, take it with you. So they gave me health insurance from New Jersey in Florida till the Florida stuff kicked in, and I could stay, you know, move here permanently. But yeah, I'm tired of this already. It's like every day is something different, you know? And not being able to eat now, that's like the straw, the last straw on the camel's back. I'm just looking, the parking lot is thinning out. So, yeah, being sick long term is horrible. It's rough. Sometimes you wake up and you forget, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. I forgot. I was having a good dream. I forgot. But I'm just glad I'm done with the doctors for a while. I don't have to see anybody till the summer and get annoyed in July again. And hopefully we're done with that. Alright. It was good to know I wasn't nuts with what was happening. I'm trying to think there was something else besides that. Oh, I can't think right now. All I hear are helicopters going by. Making sure I'm not the last one in the parking lot. All the restaurants are shutting now. Everybody packs up early. This whole section of the state gets up at like 4:30 in the morning to go to work. So everybody closes at 9 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, there's nothing open. A couple of fast food places, and they close at about 11. I don't think we have any Taco Bells open to 2 a.m. or later. Yeah, a lot of people have been getting very sick. This other YouTube young girl, I forget her name. She's young. I think she's in the hospital or something. She got very sick. She probably has that weird flu thing. 300 people in the hospital is insane. They had 30 people in the emergency room with buckets, handing out buckets to these people. They all have the flu, and it's really bad. Really bad. And some kind of little virus thing that the kids were passing around. But we got a bad, the flu is so bad, they're telling people not to come to the hospital, to go through the drive-through, get that test. If that comes out positive for the flu, then call your doctor from home, and, they'll tell you what to do, but there's nothing you can do for the flu, which is awful. You just got to suffer through it. But the ICU was full. They had 300 patients in the hospital and 30 people in the waiting room. And two bathrooms, one for men, one for women, and 30 people, all with handing out garbage cans. The nurses were collecting all the little plastic Tupperware garbage cans and all over the hospital, scooping them up and handing them out with stacks of paper towels and ice packs. Oh, gloves and hand sanitizer to everybody. I was like, 30 people had the flu in the waiting room. I was like, oh, ew. I wouldn't walk in there till next year. Oh, yuck. And that bathroom. Oh, damn. But really telling it, they were warning everybody, don't go to the emergency room unless it's absolutely necessary. If you can't breathe or, something bad's coming out of you, then come. But don't come here just to find out you got the flu. I was like, that's good. Send everybody to Walgreens. Go through the drive-through window. They'll stick it out that little thing like the bank. Here, do it yourself. Spit on this. Let us know if it turns blue. No, we don't want it back. Don't pass it back. Take it home and throw it away. Ugh. But it came pretty early. Usually we don't start picking it up until March. It's like a springtime flu down here. But it started getting quiet. I think everybody's waiting for the rocket to the moon to go off, and now it's not. Something's really wrong over there. And they're talking about having to roll it back in. That means that they ain't going to the moon until sometime in March or maybe April. I don't know what they said was wrong with it, but something with like the new rocket fuel or something isn't burning right, and it's screwing up part of the engine, so their new mixture is not working out good. So they keep trying to make that rocket fuel better and better, and it just keeps ruining their rockets. It's burning too hot, I think, and they're just melting stuff. Something's wrong with the heat factor. They're trying to make them faster and bigger, and there's only so much explosions you can do without ruining the rocket, dummies. Like putting diesel in a regular car, some kind of the hydrogen and something to do with the nitrogen are not mixing. They're not firing the way they're supposed to be exploding like gas does or whatever. One's doing it too soon, or it's canceling the other one out. But they were testing those engines. My God, they were shaking the half the state of Florida the other night. Just testing those booster rockets on land. Makes a mighty vibration. We had a couple going off yesterday, the day before. I don't even know what that was. Probably more Starlink crap up there. Skynet. See, the Terminator was right. We didn't listen. In the 80s, we should have. They're going to take over. Yeah, and the one thing they were saying about this flu was that you can be contagious. Normally the flu is 74, 3 to say 4 days, maybe 5. You can still pass it around once it's really hit you. This one can take up to 10 days before you get sick instead of 72 hours. And you are contagious somewhere between 14 to 21 days. And some people are contagious the entire time they have it. Now, normally, if you sneeze in a room and you got the flu, about 2 to 3 hours. This one is living 2 to 3 days. So if someone sneezes on the chair in the emergency room and you come in like a freaking week later and touch it, that this flu germ is still alive. And it's super duper contagious. Just breathing. If somebody sneezed in the room and you walk in, that's it, you got the flu. One person in the entire store can infect half the people in the store. I said, oh, geez. So I'm making sure I'm the first one in. That's it. I'm not even going at the end of the day. Too many people in the store. That crap's hanging around. So if you're going to go shopping early. Be the first one in the door. Wait for the store to open. He said, if you can't be the first one in, you're not going in. You better not. I was like, okay. That was the other reason why he called, too, to tell me about that stuff. And don't touch anything. I said, we're going back to COVID rules? He said, probably. He said, I would take huge precautions with this one if you're sick and you got any kind of breathing thing or heart problems. Oh, I've seen that. I saw that when it came out. That was a good movie. I like that one. And, what was the other one? Oh, I can't remember. Not sure if it was the Apollo one. There was another one they did like that. It wasn't very big, but it was a good movie. Hidden Figures was good. Usually I rent it when it comes on. I miss going to the movies. But everybody's on top of each other now. And I don't like the stadium seating like this. It's like I'm sitting at a football game watching a movie. You know, I feel like I'm at a football game watching a drive-in movie. I don't like the theaters. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Now they got the pharmacies inside Walmart. I didn't know they were doing all that in there. Ugh. I like having them bring the stuff out. That's very nice. You can't get everything you want, though. It's like I needed a pair of sweatpants. It got cold again. Mind, I can't, that was the other thing, can't do laundry. How do I wash my clothes if I can't get money out of the Mac machine? Ugh. I'm gonna scream soon. And I have to pay for it online. I can't even just drop it off and can't swipe my card. I can't. I said to the other lady, I said, I can't do this, I can't do that, can't put gas in the car. Oh yeah, and I just realized I can't do my laundry now because I run out of quarters. I used my change to do my last load of wash. I said I need a pair of sweatpants. I couldn't find one pair of sweatpants that they would pull off a rack and bring to me. They won't bring the clothes out. I was like, damn. I was like, they're right there. They're $7. Give me a pair of freaking sweatpants. I was going to tell the kid when he came out with my order, I'll give you $20 to go get me a pair of sweatpants. Keep the change. You know? They're what, $8? $7.98 for the cheap Fruit of the Loom sweatpants. I was like, oh man. I wanted to scream. But I like the pickup. And let me tell you, those young kids, I like when the boys do the food shop and they come out with the best chickens. Every time I ask for a roasted chicken, they got the nice burnt one with the good crispy skin, you know. The boys those young kids can pick out a good chicken. I got 2 in a row this week. 2 boys did the food shop, and I try to keep that in mind. That's why I was cranky that the Walgreens card wasn't working now. And we don't even know why. I won't know until probably Saturday. Oh no, the 1st. Yeah, maybe Saturday. They might do it before then, because the 1st is Sunday. But I gotta wait till the new month starts, because they cut a lot. The last week of the month, when you get that card where you can buy stuff in the pharmacy, they cut it off. So I don't know what was wrong. And some of the stuff I had put in the cart, I wasn't sure if I could still buy. Some stuff they cut off the last 10 days of the month. Yeah, he brought me out the oil for the car, but I tried to find those sweatpants in there, and they didn't have it. They just kept popping up $30 pairs of sweatpants. I said, I'm not that desperate. I put my stretch pants on, and the other one, I'll put them back on over the other ones. I don't know what the hell to do. But they brought the shorts out last year when I started doing this. I tried a Walmart order in the summer, but it might have been just maybe the sweatpants. Maybe they were out of them all. They could have been, and that's why they weren't on the app. They could have run out because it got really cold. And we've been running out of everything. There's so many people here that we keep running out of stuff. It's like a scavenger hunt again, trying to find what you want. And I was like, I can't keep going from Walmart to Walmart to Walmart just to try to get everything I want. Now I gotta wait till I'm going to that one and hit that one up and not go to this one for about 4 or 5 days until hopefully they get supplies in and restock the shelves. I made an order 2 weeks ago. I ordered 10 things. 7 of them had to be substituted. We had nothing. Yeah, I know. They put out bathing suits already in Walmart, please. When I snuck in there and I found the thing, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I was like, it's January. You could put the sundresses away for a while. Jeez, summer dresses were out already. It's like they had the Easter dresses out. It was July. I mean, January. It's last month. Maybe they were getting ready for Valentine's Day. I don't know. And they're putting Easter out way too early. They had Valentine's Day and Easter, and for some reason bypassed St. Patrick's Day. Now all of a sudden, last week, the St. Patrick stuff came out. I was like, but they put out all the Easter candy out now. Well, because by April, forget about it. The middle of March, that Easter candy is going to be gone. I want my little Hershey's chocolate eggs. Too much. We rarely get winter clothes down here. It's hard to find. That's why everybody walks around like a bum in sweatpants and pajama fleece bottoms. That's all they sell us. And you figure we'd have winter clothes because of Amazon. There's 1,000 Amazon trucks and about 500 distribution centers of Amazon here. There's no need for us to be walking around and whatever they sell in Walmart, you can order whatever you want. They still, these people refuse to buy winter clothes. I swear they do. They're walking around looking like a bunch of bums in their pajamas and their slippers. Rather than go out and actually buy real winter clothes. Every once in a while, I see some sweaters. Everybody laughs when I wear that big pink turtleneck sweater. One, they always look at me and they crack up laughing. I said, shut up. I said, this is what you're supposed to be wearing. And the lady of Walgreens laughs at me. She saw I've known her for a long time now. And she's been working there the whole time. I think I've been in there now, 11 years now. This will be 11 years this year. But she always laughs at me. She goes, where'd you find that? I said, Burlington. You gotta go to Burlington to get any sweaters. I miss my sweaters. Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe that's why. I forgot they moved everything up. Yeah, next week is daylight savings. I want to shoot myself. Freaking, what, March 3rd? Or the 5th? I don't want to be in daylight at 9 o'clock at night. Eesh. Already. It's spring. Spring is in, what was that? April 21st again, people? Next thing you know, we're going to be having daylight savings for Valentine's Day. Oh, I wish they would just leave it like this. We don't need any more hours of the day for people to be getting drunk down here. Normally when it starts to get dark, everybody starts going home. With daylight, with it being daylight till 9 o'clock at night, these places are staying open later. Everybody starts getting guilty about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they go home. I don't want everybody out walking around still drinking at 10 o'clock at night. I also don't want to be 100 degrees till 10 o'clock at night with the sun beaming down. That's the worst part of the day. I'd rather the sun, when you're down here, you'd rather the sun is directly above you at 12 o'clock in the afternoon than for it to be 6 o'clock in the afternoon and it's right on the horizon, beaming that heat in your face, directly into your car window, right here. Like the sun coming up in the morning. Geez, it heats the car up like an oven. Ah, this is so stupid. Oh, maybe it is the 8th, and I just thought the 8 was a 3 without my glasses. But I know it's like next week. This is crazy. Mm. I don't know. I really don't need it to be daylight that long. Then kids are up to no good. You can't tell your kids to come home at dark because dark is 10 o'clock at night down here. They get into more trouble that way. I'll send that up there. You guys do daylight savings. We're gonna boycott the free state of Florida. We're boycotting daylight savings. The rest of you can do it. Hell with that. Texas too would probably be very grateful that the sun's still setting at 6:30 at night instead of 10 o'clock. Can't take the heat. But it's not 120 degrees in Canada. You know, if it was only 85 degrees, that'd be one thing. But 115 in the summer, oh, that's when you cry. And you're praying for October to hurry up and come. Please, November, let's go. Get rid of the sun. It's bad. Uh-oh. Everybody go yet? Yeah. All right, got 5 stragglers, then I gotta get out of here. The parking lot is closing. All right, we did an hour and a half. I figured I was only getting an hour. They must be closing a little later. A Chinese food place. Yes, I bet it is. I like the basement apartments. I've had a few. I like them. I miss my house. Not the mess, just the house. Not the maintenance. Crap falling apart. Oh, Lord. I'm trying to think. I thought there was something else stupid I saw. I'll find it. If I find it, I'll post it. Oh, shut up. Wearing hoodies in the summer. I might be come up there and kick your ass. Give me an excuse to come up there. Good. Well, we do when the sun goes down and it goes from 110 down to 70 and you're freezing to death. Because it just dropped 45 degrees. And a bad night when the wind kicks up and it drops it'll drop from say 105 down to 60 and it doesn't sound that bad. But then you kick in the wind coming off the ocean and you're shivering and freezing like it's the middle of winter. We carry a sweatshirt everywhere we go. You have to, because the minute the sun is gone, you're freezing. Now that's what we're going to have this weekend. Wind like 25 miles an hour with 37 mile an hour gusts. I got to check my solar panels, make sure that wire is that tie-down wire is still holding tight. We had 40 mile an hour winds the other night. I was praying. I went out to check them this morning and they were pretty good. So when I check the oil tomorrow, I gotta check before it starts raining and make sure they're still tight again. And yeah, it would be a quick fight. It'd be like, poof. She goes, yeah, okay. You could beat me with one finger. Oh, man. Oh, Lord. What a mess. But I poured the first bucket of water over my head twice this week. Lazy. I got kicked out of the gym. Bastards. This is really going to be annoying soon. I mean, it's annoying now. When Jayne gets desperate, they better look out. I got one or two more. I got a new name of someone they want me. Hey, Patricia, how's it going? Oh, I feel bad. We have to get off in a few minutes. The parking lot is emptying out. I can't be the last man standing here. Somebody's gonna come knocking on my window. What the hell was I saying? Oh, I got a new name of someone to call. How you been? I went into to get gas the other day, and I went inside to see if I was running out of paper towels, so I ran in to go to the bathroom and snatch a few paper towels because this place puts them in the holder. So I figured, hey, I just got gas. I can steal some paper towels from the ladies' room. And a man was holding the door open, and I saw his hat, but I noticed a pin on it. And I said, hey, thank you for your service. I told him, what my dad was. And he looks at me, and he says something, and he says the name of one of the groups. He says, I was with the original Delta Force team. What was your dad? And I said, oh, shit. This guy was a 3-star general. My dad was a 2-star general. They were in the same unit and went on some of the same missions together. They knew each other, but might not have been, like best buds kind of thing. Different guys they would pluck guys from different units and then put them together for special missions. So he said, I could be Alpha Bravo and your dad's from, Charlie Company. He said, and they pick and choose, and then we all get shoved into a plane and dropped out together, and we don't even know each other. We just know we're all Delta Force or Navy SEAL or Marines or Rangers, Airborne, whatever. We started laughing. We talked for about 15 minutes in there. Oh, my Lord. We were laughing. I've run into a bunch of people who were with my father. Ran into my father's platoon, their platoon chaplain, their private chaplain for my dad's platoon. I found him by accident. It was just, I walked into his church, didn't even know it was his. I've run into the craziest people down here. This guy was so nice. I told him what's going on, and he gave me the name of a state representative that he knows the guy. So he told me that he's got an office nearby and that I should call over there to the state representative's office for this county and in that city. I said, okay, no problem. He said, maybe there's something, maybe he could help you. This is ridiculous. How are you going to go to the doctor? I said, I can't even pick up my prescriptions. I have to go in person to get them. What happens when I run out of gas? I can't go to the doctor either. I can't do nothing. And he said, don't get to the danger point, but maybe try. I said, I don't know if he can. I said, the VA hasn't been able to. My advocate for the VA has been trying since November. He calls me every 6 to 8 weeks to see if I found anything. I said, no. I said, what about you? He said, no. He said, I would have called you. I came to find you. And I tell him where I hang out, so he knows where to look for me in case he finds something. And he can't find nothing when no one's handing out money, nothing. And he's told some people about what's happened. And they're like, we can't do nothing. I said, well, maybe you could find someone a little higher up to make a phone call and say, yo, stupid. You want people to work for those food stamps? How are they getting there? Oh, my God. He was laughing. He says, sorry. Oh, shit. He said, I didn't even think about that. Is how people doing that? I said, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how they're dropping the kids off to school or picking them up. He said, oh, shit. Oh, man. I said, yeah. Yep. You got no gas money. How you going to drop your kids off? There's not school buses everywhere down here. You know, some kids do have to walk, or you got to take them yourself. Especially if it's like a, you know, a smaller private school or, you know, Catholic school or a church school or something, you know, that's insane. Hey, Roberto, how you doing? This stuff gets very frozen. So you're seeing what you're saying, but I don't see it for like a minute or two. My chat is very slow. How are you? And thank you very much. Hey, Jenny, how's it going? You sent me the envelope, right? That you asked me to be on the lookout for? That's you, right? I tried to find the comment to let you know I got it, and it disappeared. It's going pretty good. It's a little loud around here this week, but and I gotta get going in a few minutes, but we'll do this again. Now I know where I can get a good spot. I just can only do this till, what time is it now? 9:30? Everything's shutting down. Everything, I was telling everybody, everything closes at 9:30. So I'm waiting for the last people. There's 3 cars, got their lights on. They're closing up the stores over here. So I have to leave with them. But I will be back. Now I know I got a better spot. I can sneak over here, do it a little bit earlier. Did anybody know that was coming? I was starting to get a psychic vibration on that one. Yes. Yes. That's the right address. Yeah, I had to take down the email one. Someone was being stupid. 7:40, 9:40. Okay, yeah. That was the last one. Now the Indian and the Chinese restaurant just turned their lights out. I gotta leave in a minute. Thank you, Patricia. I appreciate that. I just, I don't know what else to do, so I'm gonna call the state representative, see if I can get a hold of him, and, I don't know. It's just very aggravating that they don't even send us a letter to let us know how long it's gonna go on, when are they gonna turn the debit cards back on. I mean, just nothing. Just nothing. Just refusing to answer anybody's questions. Social Security has tried. They're not getting anything. I wrote 3 letters 6 months ago and still haven't gotten a response yet. I wrote 3 because I figure 1 or 2 are probably going to get lost and never seen. And they have no phone number. Conveniently, you cannot call Fort Knox. It's the Federal Reserve Bank. They don't have a phone number, only an address. When the first time I lost my card, it took me 3 months to get a replacement of talking with them, just to even get a response back. It was insane. I wanted to scream, and Social Security can't make you a new one. Only the Federal Reserve can send you a new debit card. I wanted to have a hairy fit. They're supposedly going to work with the 5/3 bank, with the 5/3 bank, whatever the hell that is, 5/3, supposedly working with them to be able, so we have a Mac machine we can go to and not have to pay out $5 every time we withdraw money from an ATM. Also, so there's a place to either go to or have a designated bank to be able to do the direct deposits, instead of everybody being all over the place and having 500 deposits going to 5 different banks. Make one bank responsible for everyone on federal money. So at least you have a bank. If you want to do direct deposit and not do the card or whatever you want to do kind of thing, and at least be able to keep track of what's happening, which I thought they always did. Now, PNC, as a courtesy, would let us take money out for free. We don't have to pay if we use our debit card there. But the branch had nothing to do with our accounts. Now, supposedly, PNC doesn't want to deal with the bank, doesn't want to deal with the government anymore. And now, supposedly, 5/3, they're in negotiations, probably with all this new thing, so that at least we have a bank. You know what I mean? Because it's ridiculous to have a card that you don't have a bank for. There's no 800 number. You got to do everything by either by written down. There's not even an email for these people. Nothing, just nothing. So fingers crossed they fix that issue for us. So at least if something is wrong or you lose the card or something happens, you can go in and either get a new replacement. It doesn't take 3 months to get your card back. That was, I've never lost that card ever since, let me tell you. After I went through that for almost 4 straight months without the card, I wanted to scream. So, fingers crossed they fix that. Yeah, I know, I can't do those. We're not allowed. I'm not allowed. We can take donations, but that stuff is a no-no. I mean, anything that's got to be done with taxes and stuff like that, it's extremely complicated and it gets very hairy. I was like, okay. So I can't even do like the GoFundMe right now. Not till they're finished. I can't change or alter anything I'm doing until they're finished. I can't even sign up for food stamps until they're done. I thought about going back on that, you know. I don't know. I got a lot to think about. Make some decisions before this ends, hopefully. I'm just worried this is going to go through the summer. Yeah, we should. Speaking of, here they come again. I hear like at least 3 of those helicopters coming this way. So I'll have to keep an eye on that situation. I'm hoping it's just training stuff, but I don't think they really do training missions over the public. You know what I mean? When they're flying somewhere. They're not over there teaching people how to fly those giant helicopters and stuff. Usually they do that in the woodsy. Yeah, they're very picky about what you can and cannot do. Save your money. Save your money, don't spend it. You need a nest egg. You need a nest egg. I blew the nest egg on fixing the car. I tried to put some money away. Yeah, we got the food pantries and stuff. That's why I said if I have to take my whole check, I don't have to worry about food. I can go get it. You know, that's not an issue. I can get by. But but that was with the Walgreens working, so I won't know until probably Saturday or Monday and see what happens. I'll try my card again when I get paid and see what happens, but I've gotten no letters on anything. Oh, the only thing I got was that my Medicare was approved. So I'm good on I'm good on my money. I'm good on the Medicare portion, and right now this is the Medicaid investigations they're doing, and there's no way out. It's like a RICO act. They went across the board and took everybody. So they didn't look like they were picking on anyone. I was like, yeah, but stupids, people who don't drive their car for the last 30 years who got a chauffeur, probably 40 years before they ever put gas in it. You know, you talk about people get driven around for a living. Didn't even think of the one basic thing by cutting off your cash access. Gas in your car. Stupid heads. Yeah, I noticed that Publix and Target do most of the donating, but mostly the churches that I go to are all done through Publix. Through Publix. Sometimes Second Harvest, if somebody's working with them, will deliver extras to some of the churches. There's a lot of them around and some really good ones. The problem is that they're far away. But once I get the car fixed, I can drive to the ones that are farther away. So it's just, you know, jumping off a cliff. Taking the chance and taking the whole check and doing the car. I just have to pay the car insurance. The phone I can do without for a couple weeks. That's fine. And that's it. This month I have to pay my P.O. box, and that's good for 3 months, so I don't have to mess with that again until probably May. March, April, May. Yeah, June. It won't be, so I'll go March, April, May. I have to pay 3 months at once, and then June. So the P.O. box was screwing me up. Okay, I'll take a look for that. I'll take a look. Yeah, send me that. An email, send me. That's why I know. I got some weirdo emails, but they went right to the spam folder. It's some kind of weird thing. And they're back again. There's like little packs of helicopters. There's some over there. There's some over there. There's some behind me here. Some are coming at me now. It sounds like the sheriff's planes, though. But yeah, they've been getting a little stingier with stuff. They were cutting back on how much they were giving everybody every week, you know? So, yeah. And those are the ones that are there. That one is pretty high up. The ones that were right over the car, over the parking lot, they're just flying way too low. I got to think about that. Ripped the roof and the side of the building off. The first plane that hit the tower came right over the seaport and ripped the entire corner of our brick building, our warehouse, customs warehouse, off. Just ripped the wall right off the building. That's how low they were. So, got a little thing about planes. All right, I have to get out of here because there's the last guy leaving now. There goes Chinese food dude. Too expensive, buddy. Yeah, we're a little upset about an incident that happened this afternoon. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's been a strange week around here. So, I'll let you know if I hear anything, but keep an eye on that. So, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go find someplace quiet to sleep. I'm going to be dreaming of freaking war movies. It sounds like the movie Platoon over here. It's whacked. Everybody have a good night. Now I found a good spot to stay and haven't gotten thrown off. So, yes, even with all this going on. Yeah, they're just hovering. Yeah, hopefully you're going to get the good night's sleep. Everybody have a good weekend. I'll wait till after the weekend with all the rain and stuff like that. Maybe Sunday night we should get rid of the rain. So maybe we'll try for Sunday night. March Madness is coming. God help us. We're going to be invaded by teenagers. March Madness is coming, the basketball and the first spring break. I want to please, we got 2 weeks of quiet here before it's going to get nuts again. Okay, thank you, Patricia. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, I was talking with someone about that. Send me an email, and then I'll send you the real information. You know what I mean? The name on my driver's license. I don't want to give out my last name right now. Everybody's getting cranky. So, send me an email, and then I'll send you everything. That sounds good. And send me your phone number. You send an email, send the phone number. All right, everybody, have a good night, and we'll try for Sunday night. Again, I don't think anything's going on Sunday. Hopefully. All right, I'll see you guys later. Hopefully Sunday night. Have a good weekend. Goodbye. Let's say goodbye from Baby Yoda. Goodbye. Good night, everybody.